Admiral Zix Thara of the Hegemony Fleet adjusted her bio-neural interface, the crystalline tendrils pulsing with anticipation as the invasion armada dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system. 47 dreadnoughts, each the size of a small moon, materialized in perfect formation. Behind them, support vessels numbering in the thousands emerged from the quantum fold, like predators sensing wounded prey. Primitive World-designated Terra 3 Detected Admiral reported her tactical officer, Subcommander Velkoth. His four eyes gleamed with the satisfying luminescence of certain victory. Single-star system, carbon-based lifeforms, barely achieved rudimentary spaceflight. Our intelligence suggests they've only recently established orbital installations. Zix Thara's mandibles clicked in amusement. The Hegemony had conquered 17 star systems in the past cycle, each more advanced than this backwater planet. Their standard doctrine was simple: overwhelming force, complete subjugation, resource extraction. The humans wouldn't even understand what hit them. "Commence standard invasion protocol," she ordered. "Target their primitive satellites first, then their largest population centers. We'll give them 14 standard time units to surrender before beginning full planetary bombardment." The fleet accelerated toward the inner system. Their exotic matter drives bending space-time itself. At light speed, their sensor arrays painted a picture of the target world: blue oceans, white clouds, billions of inhabitants clustered in sprawling urban centers, pathetically vulnerable. But as they crossed the asteroid belt, something peculiar appeared on their scans. Admiral Velkoth's voice carried an odd tremor. "I'm detecting unusual readings from the planet's surface and orbital zone." Define unusual, Subcommander. "Multiple high-energy signatures activating across the planet. Massive power spikes from installations we hadn't detected before. And something else." His claws tapped frantically at his console. "There are far more artificial satellites than we initially counted. Hundreds of thousands of them." Zix Thara leaned forward in her command throne. "Explain." Before Velkoth could respond, their long-range sensors erupted with new contacts. From Earth's surface, massive cylindrical structures were rising from what appeared to be empty grasslands and desert floors. Simultaneously, the space around Earth began to shimmer as previously invisible objects decloaked not hundreds of satellites, but millions of them, forming layered defensive grids around the planet. "This is impossible," Velkoth whispered. "Our intelligence indicated they'd barely achieved fusion technology." The first indication that something was terribly wrong came when their lead dreadnought simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, a kilometer-long fortress of destruction. The next, it had been reduced to its component atoms. No explosion, no debris field, just empty space where 50,000 Hegemony warriors had been. What happened to the Annihilator? Zix Thara roared. "Unknown weapon signature, Admiral." The energy reading was, "It defies our physics models. Some kind of exotic matter converter, but operating on principles we don't understand." 3 more dreadnoughts vanished in quick succession, each deletion cleaner and more precise than the last. The human weapons weren't just advanced, they were beyond the Hegemony's comprehension. "All vessels, evasive maneuvers, return fire immediately." But the human response was already adapting. From Earth's surface, pillars of coherent energy began lancing out not the crude plasma or kinetic weapons the Hegemony expected, but something that seemed to violate causality itself. The beams arrived at their targets before they'd apparently been fired, striking with pinpoint accuracy across impossible distances. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Terra 3, the communications officer reported, her voice thick with disbelief. "Put it through." A human face appeared on the main screen, elderly, wearing simple clothing, speaking in calm, measured tones. "To the attacking fleet, You have approximately 11 minutes to retreat beyond the heliopause. This is your only warning. Zixthara's rage overwhelmed her tactical sense. Destroy that arrogant insect's homeworld. All weapons, full bombardment. The hegemony fleet unleashed everything: antimatter torpedoes, quantum disruptors, gravity bombs capable of cracking continents. It was enough firepower to sterilize 100 worlds. None of it reached Earth. A barrier of impossible energy surrounded the planet, absorbing every projectile, every beam, every exotic weapon in their arsenal. But worse than absorption, their weapons were being analyzed, reverse-engineered, and improved upon in real time. Within seconds, enhanced versions of their own technology were being used against them. How is this possible? Velkoth screamed as another squadron of dreadnoughts was converted to their base elements. The answer came in fragments as their dying ships transmitted their final sensor readings. Hidden beneath Earth's surface was a technological infrastructure that dwarfed the hegemony's greatest achievements. The humans hadn't just achieved faster-than-light travel, they'd mastered dimensional engineering, exotic matter manipulation, and something their computers could only describe as applied ontological warfare. But the most terrifying revelation came from their xenobiological scanners. The humans weren't just technologically advanced, they were old. Far older than their public face suggested. Carbon dating of their deep installations revealed construction dates stretching back millions of years. This wasn't a primitive species that had recently discovered fire. This was an ancient civilization that had been pretending to be young, weak, vulnerable. They'd been watching, waiting, perhaps testing potential threats. The war lasted exactly 14 minutes and 37 seconds. When it ended, the hegemony's mighty invasion fleet was gone. Not destroyed, simply unmade, reduced to quantum foam and scattered across 11 dimensions. Only a handful of observation ships survived, apparently spared deliberately to carry word back to their empire. As they fled beyond the outer system, Admiral Zixthara watched Earth recede in their viewport. The planet looked exactly as it had before: blue, peaceful, innocent. But now she understood the truth. Humanity wasn't prey. They were the apex predators, and the galaxy had just learned what happened when someone was foolish enough to threaten their home. The transmission that followed them into hyperspace was brief, delivered in perfect hegemony standard: next time, call ahead. In the intelligence archives of 17 conquered worlds, new files were created, marked with the highest classification levels: SPEC, IES, HUMA, AEEEUN, STAT, USDO, NOT, ENG, AGE, EVEEEER.